I do.
You still drive?
I actually have you would like a Porsche Macan.
No.
A Porsche Macan turbojet.
Where do you live?
I live in California.
Okay, I'm never driving there again.
Yeah.
He's on the road.
I read that you were standing, or thinking of standing, as an MP.
That's Google shunting, Jonathan.
I beg your pardon?
Google shunting.
OK, what's that mean?
It means that when somebody writes a story in a newspaper that you don't much care for, you just think, I'd rather that wasn't sitting at the top of Google.
Yeah, we've all had that.
My name
Yeah.
Yeah, you've been there. We've all...
Stop saying that, will you? I've moved on.
Yeah, I'm moving on.
Yeah.
But if that happens, so a newspaper writes it, it all sits at the top of Google.
Yeah.
So you need to come up with something more modern, something more fresh.
Yeah.
And so I will then go on Twitter and say, I'm thinking of standing as an MP against Ed Miliband. All the newspapers run around, print stories, and suddenly the story you don't want sitting there is Google, is shunted way down onto page 43, and then your story that you don't mind having there it's absolutely rubbish. Of course I'm not going to stand it.
But you see, I bet you when Nigel Farage read that, he thought, I've got some serious competition. What do you make of those guys? Would you, if they said to you, because I imagine if you draw circles of demographic interest, I imagine a lot of their fans would think, Clarkson is our man. Because they don't always know you're joking.
There's a slight problem, is I'm massively pro-European.
All right.
So it becomes rather difficult to support a party that wants primarily to get you out of Europe when all I want to do is stay in Europe.
You love Europe?
I really love being
Just because you like the speed limits?
No, I like Italian speed limits a lot.
What's the speed limit in Italy?
There isn't one.
Wow.
Well, there is.
Okay,
there is, but then nobody knows what it is. We were filming there this year, and...
What do you mean no one knows what it is?
I said to the policeman, what's the speed limit? Anyway, he's... That was his... the speed cameras all the way down. He said, no, but they are all broken. How do you think we go there such a lot? God's race.
OK, let me ask you then, because I think you're a very funny writer, and I always enjoy your shows. Why would you do that?
I thought you said wanker. Yeah. I did. I thought, why did you just say wanker?
So here's some of the things you said about other countries. And I've actually weeded out the worst ones, right? I don't even want to start on France, because you've always said...
France. I go on holiday every year in France.
Spain. Don't you think the paella is just rice with a bin bag emptied in it?
Don't clap that! You're just encouraging.
No, but
You went on to say, I look at my bin at the end of the week, and that's basically paella.
It is. You actually put your bin back and there's some prawn shells, a little bit of last night's curry, and you go, that's no different. Because I don't get it. I mean, this is not a Spanish thing, it's just when you have paella, there always seem to be empty shells. You know, there's always some mussel shells, but there's no actual mussels in them. And prawn shells, and it's just whatever it is that prawns have here, you get that in paella, but not the actual delicious bit that you used to get in Burney Inns with a bit of lettuce in Thousand Island.
There you go. Well, look, let me show you a clip. This is from the new Top Gear DVD. This is Jeremy enjoying himself. This is Perfect Road Trip 2.
Germany?
I said enjoying. What's wrong with you?
I'm profoundly deaf.
No,
wait.
What did I say?
I have a disability and you're mocking it. I am profoundly deaf, and...
Are you actually deaf?
No, genuinely, I've had a medical.
Well, how did you just hear that?
I can hear bits. If you speak clearly, I can hear you.
You're profoundly dishonest, is what you are. And you don't get a parking space for that.
I keep having a parking space.
Let me ask you about your other child as well. You have a daughter, she's 13, I believe? Yeah. OK, so I think we have a picture of you with her. Beautiful young girl, becoming a young woman. So how was that, her going to the Oscars? Was that last year's Oscars?
It was last year. You know what she said? She goes, Dad, it's like being in Madame Tussauds, but everyone's moving.
Now, what were you like at that age?
13 years old, I bought a car from the loot for 50 quid.
Hold it, when you were 13?
Yeah.
You bought a car?
Well, yeah,
for yourself?
You could buy the loot, it was only 35p, and then you could buy cars.
Yeah, but you were 13.
Yeah. I just looked older. I had a beard and everything.
Yeah, but not just that. Were you driving it?
Yeah.
When you were 13?
Yes.
But you're saying that as if that's a... Never mind how old you looked.
All right. Well, you'd get me in trouble.
Well, no, you're getting yourself in trouble by saying it as if it's the most normal thing in the world.
Well, it was to me, I guess. But I did. And I had a girlfriend who was 19 as well.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
She was the love of my life. It was really funny because I used to go to school in the morning when I stayed at a house.
You used to drive to school in the morning, yeah, we got that.
And I used to pretend like, you know, I was going to work. I used to have a job as a tyre fitter. That was only a Saturday job. So I used to get up in the morning, put the overalls on and go to work when I stayed at her house.
Yeah.
And then drive to school, take the overalls off, put my uniform on and go in.
And then go home with the overalls back on?
Well, yeah, no. Then I'd have to go to my mum's house.
Yeah.
And she'd have to give me a beating because I slept out the night before. Yeah, it's just what it is.
So you would do your homework at home, not in front of your girlfriend who assumed you were out?
Well, no, every now and again I'd bring the homework to her house by mistake, and I used to say it was like my boss's son's homework. It was complex, I mean,
Wow.
you know.
OK, so if your daughter came home with a young man who was like you were at that age, what would your reaction be?
All right, enough. Listen, I'm going home.
Because there'll be an 11-year-old driving her home if it's the same.
How old are you, son?
OK, so you were travelling by camper van as well for part of the journey.
Yes.
And you let Gino drive. Now, was that a wise thing to do?
Well, he said he knew the roads better, he was shocking, he couldn't keep his hands on the wheel.
He's the worst driver in the world.
Thank you,
Gino cannot drive. But the
Yes.
problem is that Gordon was making him do stuff. Just like when we arrived at the farm. He said, yeah, it's OK, you can go. And Gino went, yeah, I can go.
He winds me up.
And then the van was stuck on the curb like that, and he was balancing like this.
It's like the Italian job.
It was.
Because he winds me up when I drive. Do this, do that, do the other. Then he talks to me. Of course I'm going to turn around and talk to him.
Yeah, that's polite. You're just being polite.
Not up a mountain, you don't turn around and talk to me.
So then why do you talk to me when I
That's where the van... You abandoned it. You just left it there, didn't you?
drive? Oh, we couldn't move it.
I know, but you can't...
We were fucked. We couldn't get that thing off there. He can't drive, period. You are useless.
Can I just...
You know that.
I don't like when people talk to me when I drive.
Have the three of you thought about relationship counselling? But you slept in the caravan some nights as well, didn't you? Was that a fun experience?
No.
Or was it...
2:30 in the morning, this little fucker's in my sleeping blanket.
One second.
He's spooning me.
I couldn't
this
hear
one's-
noises like...
In my sleeping blanket.
He got in the bed with you?
He undone the zip and got inside the blanket.
I was scared. No, is it horrible? He's scared.
Hold on. You were fucking naked. Scared?
That doesn't matter.
Yes, it does.
Gordon, it's only skin, Gordon.
Should we talk to Jonathan the way you wake me up in the morning?
No.
By bashing your wheelie on my foot? Oh. Should we say that? Should we take this to another level now?
I told you I needed a pee.
Oh, so then you wake somebody up by doing that?
That is not true.
That is not true.
Listen.
You didn't bang your wheelie on my foot.
Ramsey, did you or did you not bang your willy on his foot?
Yes.
See?
Do you have a game plan? Do you have a... Because I get the feeling you're a fairly thoughtful young man when it comes to planning things out and knowing what you're doing.
Yeah, well, I'd say he's brave. I wouldn't say thoughtful. Look at his jacket and his pants.
Yeah.
But he's brave. I mean, he's courageous.
Yeah.
He's, you know.
But you don't want to see someone going on too long.
Well, you don't
I mean,
want to see
look,
somebody dressed like that every day
okay.
either.
But you see, look, no, but I have...
You know what I'm saying? Because Mel, you can still do comedy at 91, as you have proved.
I can't be listening. You still
Yeah,
drive?
but-
You still drive?
I do.
You still drive?
I actually have you would like a Porsche Macan.
No.
A Porsche Macan turbojet.
Where do you live?
I live in California.
Okay, I'm never driving there again.
Yeah.
He's on the road. No, but I do. Every year, I'm always assessing kind of the plan
And where you should be.
Yeah, well, you know, if you look at all the Formula 1 drivers in the past, you know, generally they stop and you know, when you're in Formula 1, you're in the spotlight, you're at the top of the world, and then it's kind of downhill kind of from there on, you know. You don't earn the same money. There's not a huge amount of opportunities because you've been in that world for so long. I've been there since I was 8, so... But me, at the moment, these past 5-6 years, I've really been trying to work on what I enjoy outside of the sport so that when I stop and I can walk away and have other things to go.
But you have no plans to retire at the moment, of course.
No, I mean, there's been talks about it, and I definitely have thought about it, and there's definitely times where I thought, you know, there's other things I want to do, but then we're in the heat of this battle right now. I'm loving it more than ever. You know, the training, all the work that you put into something, and then you get to really show your abilities. it's the greatest feeling ever. So, like, I'm going to keep going for as long as I can and see what we can do.
Yeah. That's why you're number one. Lewis Hamilton, ladies and gentlemen. Good luck the rest of the season. Look at that. That was great.